Hey guys, Omar here, and today I'm going to talk about the Final Cut Pro camera app that Apple released a couple of days ago. I use it on a couple of really quick Amazon shoppable videos. I'm an influencer on Amazon. Basically just get commission, same with like the links on YouTube, but it's on site. And I've just been playing with it while I'm shooting these products, and I do like it. Now, right off the bat, what it is and what it isn't. What it is not is the Blackmagic camera app is Filmic Pro, if that's even still around since everyone's been fired. But if you're looking for something like false color for exposure, if you're looking for a LUT, all that stuff, unfortunately, for whatever reason, they just opted to not include it in this. That's not so bad though, because what it is good for is that intermediate step, specifically for those who wanted to use a camera app to elevate their videos, but they had too many options, too many codecs, too many different things there. I mean, the Blackmagic app is free, and if you shoot video for a living, it's actually great to scroll through all those options. I absolutely love it. The thing is, if you are someone going from phone to the Blackmagic app, it's going to be a little intimidating. You will have to sit through a few tutorials. You will have to probably mess up a little bit. And there have been a couple of glitches that they did roll out fixes for. That is still my favorite phone app, but I just wanted to flag that. So those Pro Tools that you get in monitors and whatnot, you're not going to have them in this. Oddly enough, you also don't have a Rec 709 preview. If you're shooting an Apple log, I feel like that's a really easy fix that can roll out, but this is also, we're expecting a lot from a phone. But at the same time, if the camera is one of the big selling points, I feel like this is something they should include and maybe should take some feedback on for, future updates. So right now I'm going to show you the setup, and I'm going to screen record on the phone itself. Hopefully nothing messes up while I do. Here we go. So this is the image preview. This is like some cheap little monitor. Let me actually up the f-stop so it at least looks like it's exposed properly. Yeah, so this is what my phone is seeing. It's just casting on it. I'm not an Apple guy outside of the phone, so I don't have like an iPad or something to use as a monitor. And it's going to be a quick video for this guy right here. Sorry, just had to do that manual exposure. Maybe I should do like shutter priority. But this is a K&F backpack, and I actually like it. So I'm going to do a slightly elevated quality one. Right now it's an SDR. I actually got to talk about a couple of settings here too. And we're going to, and essentially I'm just going to be screen recording. I'll do commentary afterwards. If I can do it during the shoot, I will. But I do have some thoughts on the app, and I like it a lot. In all honesty, I think it's the right app for most people. And probably just some like video snobs like yours truly will probably go like, oh, this is missing this tool, but the Blackmagic app exists. And also, like, really the only issue I take with it is that if you're calling it a pro camera, you gotta have those pro settings, especially if you're selling it with the whole package. It does do multicam, a really cool and honestly crazy feature that I'm not going to be demoing because I'm not in an environment that allows it, is that you can now use multiple phones, up to 4 phones, to actually live stream cast at the same time to like an iPad based, almost like the old Sling Studio. If anyone's familiar with that, I think the company's not around anymore. But you have 4 devices and it just goes to a central hub, that hub being the iPad, and then you can broadcast to wherever it is, assuming it works really well, because that's like, that alone is reason enough for anyone doing like mobile sports or something, sports broadcasting. You don't have to bring an ATEM unless you want to do like better audio. You don't have to essentially bring a whole kit if you just want to show multiple angles and you have one audio source. I think that's a really powerful tool, and you're going to see people, especially in smaller local events for certain sports, strongman, looking at you, broadcast these competitions for others to see and enjoy in real time on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, if the API works there. But yeah, kind of a big deal there. We're just not going to touch on that, but I did want to mention it before getting into this. Turn the light off because I'm going to get started. For this video, I'm going to be using the 24mm, the main camera lens, and I might switch over to the ultra wide, but a really, really big advantage of this, and this is honestly why I didn't use the main camera app for the longest time, is that you can set white balance, not just lock it, which happened in a recent update, maybe a year ago, where once you hit play, it locked the white balance, which is handy, but then if you wanted to make sure it was the right colors in a certain spot, you had to have like a white card with you. It's a whole process, not worthwhile. That's why you just use something like the Blackmagic app. But the other and honestly larger issue for doing product videos, obviously if you're outside, it's whatever. I think it's perfectly fine to use the stock camera app as is. But for product videos, whenever you would actually move a product up or down, like you see the lights here, see if I can get this any closer. Sorry, this tripod is like 90 years old and I definitely need to get rid of it at some point. Typically, if you move something really close to the lens and you want to have like, you know, just do like a, not a macro shot, but you want to showcase the product like you're lifting it there. What happens with the stock camera app, although now I think you can kind of lock exposure, it does not always lock. I don't care what anyone says because it goes crazy when I tried doing this in the past. This will now not have that exposure shift, like everything suddenly gets bright because you're covering a light source and now the background's all washed out and bright, you can't see anything. And then when you move it out of the way, it has trouble focusing or it has to like transition back. Minor detail, maybe like you can clip out a couple of seconds if you remember to kind of wait, but super annoying. I don't like it. I like this because it gets rid of that problem. Other things, of course, is that you can now finally officially set shutter speed, and it's the actual shutter speed. You can set the frame rate and it's the actual frame rate, thank God, so far. As of now, I haven't dealt with any variable frame rate issues, so I'm a big fan of that. And of course, you've got the same options you have in the standard camera app, except you don't have to go into the menus for it, where you can pick H.264, 265, ProRes, and for color, SDR, HDR, and log. You can set your ISO. My ISO is set to base 64. We'll see how that does in post. And then what's really nice is that if you just want to maintain, like example, shutter priority or something, you can lock one setting and have everything else set to auto, and it's like any other point and shoot camera. Well, oh, like this one, that's what I'm looking for. So you're outside and you're maintaining your shutter angle, your shutter speed, and everything else is kept under control to the best of its ability. If you're shooting outdoors and it's super bright, you may want to go auto shutter as well because it will blow you out. And if you are one of those people who uses ND filters every day while they're using their phone, please tell me something that works, because I haven't found a case ND combo that I can stand. They all drive me nuts. I want to do a lot more with my phone as far as video goes. I want to downsize my kit, so I've been doing more and more. I just don't feel like I'm at the point where I can say, hey, you can use your phone over even something like the ZV-12 that I'm shooting this on now. The sensor size definitely does make a difference in terms of image quality, but in a controlled environment with lighting and when you're doing something tabletop like this, you would be hard pressed to really see a difference. Okay, so full on Yapponomics here. Let me start the screen recording. Also, I will put a link to this little monitor. It is super handy if you're like me, you just don't have any other Apple products. It really is just a good framing tool. If you're trying to shoot yourself, it doesn't have like a mirror mode, which is kind of a bit short-sighted, I think, on the manufacturer's end, but it was like not very expensive. So for framing things or shooting remotely like here, you'll be fine. Okay, so we are screen recording right now, and right now I'm in SDR mode. The reason why I'm in SDR mode is because I want to show you this one issue, just the one issue they have. Now, I said they didn't have false color or anything like that, but there are two things that this app does have, and the first one is focus peaking for if you go manual focus and you want to lock focus at a certain distance. Phenomenal, works perfectly, never change that. There's no way for it to get any better. Maybe give an option to select color or something for pickier people, but the green that they have I think is pretty good. And the second thing also works well is overexposure warning. It's like zebras, but not. Let me show you right now. Now I'm in SDR, and there's a reason why I'm in SDR. Let's go over to actually settings up top. And here's where you can just pick everything that you normally have to go into settings and then scroll down to find the camera app on the stock app. Love that you can just do it here. Really, I would love it if they also released a photo app like this just in conjunction with it, either as a separate app or within this app itself. But I do like having dedicated manual controls, a shortcut directly from the app, instead of having to have to exit out completely, then go into settings, then scroll all the way down, then go into camera settings, then make your selections, then go back to camera. It's crazy that it's been like that for this long. But anyway, so you see the little tools thing up top. I click that. Grid overlay is the rule of thirds. Don't really need that for me. Aspect ratio guide, as if you're going to crop the square, which a lot of ads are square. They're not anything else. So if you're going to crop the square, you're good to go there. If you're going to crop to... And 4:3 is an interesting option because that's more like action camera territory. I'm surprised they don't have a 9:16 grid, so you'd have like an onion skin, like all the Pro Tools. Even the Blackmagic app has an onion skin. So if you shoot horizontally, you can still frame for a vertical crop, and you know exactly how you're going to be framed in a vertical video if you have to shoot something for both vertical and horizontal compositions. I realize I talk a lot, and if you don't mind that too much, go ahead and hit like and subscribe, but let me get back to this right now. So focus peaking, I'm going to leave that off right now because I'm in autofocus. Overexposure indicator. let me show you why I have a problem with this one. SDR mode, now I'm gonna crank up the lighting. This is why I actually hate like app controlled things, because if I had a remote, I just do it with a remote. The big ones do. And now you can see that this is definitely overexposed. Why isn't it showing? Also, I forgot to mention the audio. If you plug in something like this DJI mic or you have a Bluetooth mic attached, make sure you select the audio source, or you go and you check that that audio source is where it's getting it from. Otherwise, this is a problem with the Blackmagic app. I don't know if they fixed it in the latest update, but if you did not manually connect it, then you will either get no audio or you're just gonna get the audio from here. And if you're not recording, you're not gonna be able to sync anything after post. Sucks when you record a video and find that out after the fact. But let's go back to this overexposed setting. So cranking up the light to 100 didn't overexpose this, and I'm wondering in post if this image is gonna be too dark afterwards, because 64 ISO on a small sensor really isn't too much. But to show the point, so here's like the AMRAN, and you can see the little overexposure markers. Here we go. So you see how the overexposure, it's showing that this area is overexposed. It's not like zebra, so I don't know what it's set to. I'm guessing it's set to like 95%, like a zebra equivalent. That stuff, the white that's not going off, that's recoverable probably if you take the highlights down, although obviously it's horrible. It's gonna get like those weird colors since it's a phone sensor. And you see this to me is already blown out. So maybe it's set to like 105 or 110%. I don't know why that would be the case. Now, it would make sense if they had it in log, but if I switch over, as you'll see from SDR to log, nothing. There's nothing here. And to me, it's more important to have it in log than it is to SDR, because SDR and HDR has it too. They give you much better visual representation. And in case anyone was wondering, yes, HDR does show you more overexposure since you're getting 2 different readings. Hold on one second. For HLG, so you can see that already. It's got some overexposure here. I do not edit HLG or HDR, so I don't even bother with this in all honesty. But switching it back, this is the fact that I can't see the overexposure on the log setting. That's the only gripe I have with this app. No other problems whatsoever. I think it's good for what it is. I think everything about it other than that, phenomenal. I feel like with log, they should also at least have a histogram if they're not gonna have any other exposure assist tools. But that's something that I think they'll probably will roll out, one or the other. Rec 709 preview, personally, I don't have to upload my own LUTs. You can just have the stock Apple Rec 709 thing. But it would be nice to see a future update on this actually include the option in that tools menu to turn on like view assist, and it's just the regular iPhone Rec 709, just to have that frame of reference, especially if for some reason they can't technically put in the overexposure assist tool for anything that's being shot in log. This guy was my fill at 1% down here. I saw what it looked like in SDR, so I'm going to shoot this in log, and I'm confident it's going to be fine for what this is. Like, these videos are just like fast. That's why I feel very comfortable experimenting with them. So I'm going to stop yapping right now. I'm going to do my job, and we're going to sit together in the editing bay and see if there's anything special to point out. Also going to go outside, even though it's a heat wave. I got to get my steps in. And I'll talk about a few other things I find to be not bad, but maybe some quirks that they need to hammer out. Although in all fairness, I've had this problem also with the stock app itself, the stock camera app. And it's just, for whatever reason, Apple Log, and let me know if you face this in the comments below, but Apple Log in a really high contrast scene just overexposes everything, period. It doesn't matter where you're selecting to actually get your light meter readings from, it just overexposes the whole scene. And I've shot a couple of things that I've had to scrap as a result of that, so I just don't do that anymore, unless it's within the Blackmagic app, which today I think everyone who's interested in this should eventually start using, and I think is hands down the absolute best phone camera app for videographers, period. No exceptions. Okay, I'm gonna put this away because I'm just gonna keep talking to it. Hey guys, Future Omar here, and I just came back from a walk. I would just want to share like the weird overexposure issues I've been coming across with the overexposure tool, rather specifically in log, and just to kind of like frame up what's coming up after this. So as of right now, everything looks normal, but I'm going to overlay a screen recording I did a few minutes ago, and then it shows you that there's no overexposure warning, and the whole image is overexposed. It's completely unusable. But right now it's okay, and I don't know, maybe it's a bug with my iPhone. If someone is aware of something I may potentially be doing, let me know in the comments below. So I turned stabilization on. This is the front cam right now. It's about to open up. So I got my umbrella on this little walk. So to correct an earlier statement, evidently the overexposure tool, it does work. And let me stop here for a second since it's wobbling like crazy. But I'm not sure how exactly, because this in no way, shape, or form can be accurate. I'm going to turn this around and you can see what I mean by, you can see what I was talking about earlier about the really washed out ProRes footage. Hang on. Before we get into the final results, I do want to say that I eventually got the overexposure warning to work in log by remetering after hitting the record button. And that's something I think they're going to have to fix. Is there something that I'm doing wrong? I don't think so. I've shot plenty of videos on phones prior. Be aware that's an issue. I think they could solve everything if they just included a histogram, but we're done talking about that now. And now we're going to talk about the video that I did shoot, and I'm actually really happy with the results. For everyone's benefit here, I'm actually going to change the orientation to horizontal, and it actually still makes sense horizontal since I was doing everything horizontally. But that'll give you a better idea. And the reason why I'm doing this is I want people to see the detail. I'll say this, that although I keep looking at this camera, ZV-1 looks better, hands down, but you can do a lot more with the iPhone files. They're considerably more flexible, and I think they look very similar to the 8-bit files coming out of this, and that's just a big advantage of being able to shoot in ProRes and log and everything like that. With some time, again, I've got a Sandmark video coming up about a couple of their lenses, but specifically the probe lens. I think I get the items in like 2 weeks. I ordered it myself, so that's not going to be a sponsored video or anything. I'm just tired of setting up a sun's worth of light for the Laowa probe lens. And image quality wise here, I think it looks really good. I asked a couple of people who don't know too much about cameras. Typically, we are the ones who are super critical about content as it is, because that's our thing, right? Like, we can spot the nuanced differences every time there's a new iPhone video, there's a new iPhone and someone makes a video like, oh, can you guess which was shot on the camera and which was shot on the phone? And every time the answer for people like me and you is, yes, we can tell. But here, it looks like it was shot on the camera, maybe stopped up to like F4, F5. They do a really good job. I don't know, is it this app in particular, but the motion blur is really good. And I feel like that makes it stand out considerably more. Motion blur is garbage in the stock app, no matter what. Blackmagic app, it's really good, but every now and then I do get just a small issue in that app. I don't know what it is. And here, the detail is great. I punch in quite a bit. This is a 4K comp that we're doing. This was originally done in 1080p. This scene is upside down right now. Again, this is a horizontal video. This is a vertical video. But overall, like, for your phone, this is pretty good. This is really good. And like I said, there's a lot of flexibility in the color grading, but having the additional manual controls, oh God, it was so hot. It was like 97 degrees, so excuse everything, but these are shots they wanted in that video. One day I'll do a YouTube video on Amazon shoppable videos and like whether or not you should consider doing it. But yeah, let's actually stop here for a second. So this was shot with the 5X lens, the telephoto, and I recovered quite a bit. Let me overlay what the original one looked like. It was done in log. Like, I messed up on that. I just wanted to get a finisher shot. It was really hot outside, and I think it was pretty good. I bet if I ran like a little bit of a denoiser on it, it would look even better. Not something that's super important for a deliverable like this, but you can see that there's a lot of potential. You can see that there's a lot of potential with this camera app. Just being more accessible to more people. Obviously, if you use the Blackmagic camera app, you already know this. Like, it's a good app. It's a good app. It's got a few things that need to be hammered out, but overall, it's a pretty good app. I'm going to use it for a few more videos, and I want to see what's up with that exposure tool. Maybe there's like a specific way not like you're supposed to use it, but maybe there's something you can do that is a workaround. It's just so odd that they do all this work for this app and they don't give you a histogram. That's just really weird to me. So on the off chance that someone from Apple is watching this, give us a histogram, and I think we're good. You don't even have to do like the center spot metering thing that Canon has, which is brilliant, by the way, and I'm going to mention just in case you do want to add that. Yeah, a histogram would go a long way, and I think will help a lot more over this overexposure metering thing, because what's it set to? Like 105%, 110%? It's clearly like it's a zebra function, but they're not zebras. And maybe it's just throwing me off because I'm a camera guy who uses all the other tools, and this is just something that everyone else will get used to since they have nothing else. Maybe that's the problem. But that's my 2 cents when it comes to all of this. That's really it. It's an in-depth look at this new app. It's a step in the right direction, I think. I think Apple finally folded because they were losing people over to all the other video apps, and you know how they are. They don't like people using native or native adjacent apps that aren't theirs, which I don't know what this means for those other apps. I think as long as Apple doesn't have all the pro tools, they're still welcome to exist and whatnot. It's cool to see things head in this direction. Obviously, it means that video is playing an even larger role in everyone's lives. For one of the largest manufacturers in the world to finally fold and release an app like this. But that's pretty much it. Stay tuned for a Sandmark video. Again, 2 to 3 weeks. Maybe they'll ship it sooner, and if that's the case, then I'll shoot that video sooner. But I'll be testing out the probe lens, their telephoto lens, their portrait lens, mostly for video, but I will use them for photos as well, except for maybe the probe lens. Super boring, in my opinion, that perspective. Handy for video. And that is pretty much it. Catch you at the next one.